to it and share with anyone who wasn't able to be here with us today. But thank you all for joining us. And again, thank you. If you didn't hear my thank you before, thank you for pivoting and grabbing this link instead of the other one. The Teams webinar format is a little bit new to us, and we just had some challenges with it. So for this week's, we're going to do the Teams version, and we'll revert back to the webinar for next month's. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about Xtract, and we'll have Mick McNamara, who I don't see if he's on quite yet. I'll check back to see if he's having any difficulty, but Matt, you are on, so I'll introduce you first. You're the Chief Commercial Officer. You're based in London, Ontario. No, that is
London,
not
UK.
you. London, UK, yes. Yes, thank you. And you've been working with Geotab and resellers, leveraging the existing data, providing industry-leading benefits across claims ecosystem, including insurers, fleets, OEMs, and brokers. Mick, when he does join, he's based in Northern Ontario, and he's the business development executive. So everyone on.
Yep.
Oh, you're here, Mick. Do you want?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Good. Thanks for joining. And again, thank you both for pivoting twice with these links. I appreciate it so much. But I will do a little intro here about Xtract, leading provider of innovative claims and incident management solutions. Xtract's platform integrates telematics, automation, and AI-driven insights to streamline reporting and the resolution of incidents. And I'm going to quickly turn it over to you, but just a little housekeeping. If you have a question as we're going through, do you guys mind if we have questions during, or do you want to save them for the end? Matt, Mick, what do you think?
I think it'd be better.
Questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Questions during are fine. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll be watching for that. If you just want to raise your hand, anyone, if you have questions, or throw it in the chat, I can let Matt and Mick know there's questions. Otherwise, we'll give some time at the end. And yeah, I'll turn it over to you both now.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thanks for this opportunity, and appreciate everyone who's joined the webinar today. We will make this as entertaining and educational as possible. So as Lucy said, Matt Slominski, I'm the Chief Commercial Officer. I'll give you a little history of Xtract, and then we'll really dive right into the platform and make sure that we leave time for questions during and also at the end. So Xtract is an insurtech. We're 8 years old. Founded in Dublin, Ireland by Michael Flanagan, who had a background in telematics. And he was posed a question by insurers: how do you help us leverage this information to combat the rising cost of claims and insurance? And so he's borrowed cars from family, borrowed cars from friends, and worked with the Dublin Fire Brigade and started crashing cars out behind their buildings, and in taking that data in starting to look at what happened when an accident. And that was our origin as an organization. From there, our first protocol was really the insurance market, because that's who posed that question. And so that is our North Star. And we're trusted today by some of the largest brands in the world. So RSA, AXA, Allianz use us in some of their markets, or many of their markets, as the claims reporting or core incident reporting tool, or their FNOL, as they would call it. The reason why this is important for fleets is because if you're a fleet who has an insurer that's sitting at the end, all of this information we're going to go through today is what flows downstream to that insurer. So you're giving them the same information in a way that they can ingest it easily and work on combating that cost of claims for yourself. If you're a self-insured fleet, your public sector, you operate as your own insurance company. And so you're really leveraging that best-in-class performance that some of these world's largest insurers are already using and bringing it into your world. The fleets that we work with today are everywhere from last mile to logistics, hazardous material haulers, and then public sector, which will have every type of vehicle covered under their platform. And what fleets have come back to us is, as we help them protect. We used to say 3, but we've added a 4th now. The 4 most important assets they have. Number 1 is employees. Number 2 is time. Number 3 is money. And fleets have given us this feedback for number 4, and it's their brand. So whether you're a municipality and the name of that city or county is on the side of that vehicle, or you're in the private sector and the name of your company is on the side of the vehicle, people are really looking at that brand and we're helping protect it. And we're going to jump into the platform now and show you how we do that.
Okay. I'm just going to share my screen. Sorry, we're a Zoom outfit, so I'm just going to get used to this Teams here. I think I have it. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to see the map of kind of Ontario here. Everybody see that?
You've got it.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Take it away, Matt.
Awesome. So a few things before we jump in. Number one, we're already embedded into the My Geo tab, and that's what Mick is showing now. We are already integrated with the Go devices and pulling information from there. And we're already integrated with the Go Focus camera from GeoTap, but also have integrations with all the other leading camera providers. So as we go through, we really are data agnostic. And so whatever you're using, we would have those conversations and pull those in. So this is that first dashboard. And if any live events your business would have would be showing up on here, or any open claims. If Mick will scroll down, what we'll see is what we call event cards. Event cards come in and they're going to show us the who, what, where, when, and how something happened. And then it will have two icons that are sitting there. In the upper right-hand corner, these will show collision. From an auto side, we'll have a collision journey, which is what we're going to focus on today, but we're also going to have theft, weather, hit while parked, vandalism. So all things that could come in from an auto point of view that have a different journey that sit behind it. We also have non-auto claims. So we'll have damaged cargo. We have slips and falls. So anything that a fleet has today, their drivers fill out manually, we can digitize that and bring that into our platform. And then I'm going to show real quick the little icons in the lower left-hand corner. These are things that will show you on what's happening in the claim without going in it. So it'll tell you if there's telematics involved. It'll tell you if the driver report is in on time or overdue. It'll tell you if we've received a police report, and it'll tell you how many media files we have. And then the last thing I'm going to show is there's an icon that looks like a group of people there. What we can do is we can also work on setting up processes within fleets that give workflow management. So if a fleet has someone who does intake, and then they have a safety team, and they maybe have a liability team, based on what's happening with the incident, they can assign tasks or they can assign files across that. And we work with our fleets to set it up the way that they would like to. Now, how do these event cards get in here? There's two ways. One, if we're looking at a telematics journey, it is we will work with a fleet and we will set the G-force to say anything above that G-force that is now seen as an incident will then be presented. And we will give a real-time alert to any critical stakeholder in that process to say, here's an SMS, here's an email, here's a Slack message that will say an event has occurred, go into Xtract and look at it. For those that are coming in below the threshold of G-force, what we will have in there is we will have the driver will be able to report that, and it will show up in here as an event as well. So Mick's going to now pop into one, and this is a telematics journey. And what I want to make sure that we highlight here is this is with no driver interaction. So this is a real-time alert that's come into a fleet manager or safety manager. It says something has happened. Now you click into the file and you're going to see what's happened. And you can play this incident and it will start taking it, leveraging leveraging dash cam footage to start with for the first few icons. Then it's the Go device, harsh braking, and boom, now we have our impact. And the impact's going to tell you the G-force. It's going to tell you the speed our vehicle is was going, and it tells you the likelihood of injury for our driver. It's also going to show on the back of the vehicle where the impact zone was, so that is red. At the same time this is coming in, Mick is going to click on the media files, disregard the images, the still pictures that may be in here. We're going to go right into dash cam. And so this dash cam footage that comes in real time. So now a fleet and safety manager, driver hasn't reached out. We can see what's happened on the road. We can see all that information. And now we're looking at it from a dash cam point of view. And we'll see that our driver was obeying everything, was slowing down for an obstacle in the road, and was hit in the rear. Two other things come in at this point as well. One is going to be the damage to the vehicle leveraging telematics. So again, it shows the impact zone and it shows the severity. And the other one is going to be weather. And so we bring in weather at the time of incident into the platform. So those are the four main things that happen. What fleets have fed back to us is this is a huge safety point of view for them, because now they can make an outbound call to their driver to make sure they are okay. And at the same time, they're starting to manage the claim. And in this case here, they know without even talking to the driver, it's non-fault, and they can start processing it in that way. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mick to go through what the driver would see from their side and the actions they would take.
Thank you, Matt. So I'm just going to stop sharing for 1 second because I need to switch over to another tab. Yes, keep. Okay, are we seeing the phone on the screen there?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So as Matt was saying, you know, what we saw up to this point was telematics only. But now what we want to do is, you know, the ultimate goal is to create like a comprehensive claim or incident pack that can be used to, you know, either make a decision that we're at fault and we want to close this claim off quickly, or, you know, we can see that we're not at fault and we're going to fight this claim and we want to put together a nice information pack for a third-party insurer, etc. So how do we get the other part of that, the driver side of things? And this is something that is a big headache for a lot of fleets, where they have drivers, you know, that don't take pictures at the scene. They forget to take pictures. They don't get the third-party information, or they don't get a witness's contact. So what we've done is we've created an FNOL tool, or which is first notice of loss, which is where the driver traditionally would have called in, and then, you know, the fleet manager would write it down on a piece of paper, and then they would fill out a report together when the driver gets back, etc. But what we've done is streamlined and automated that process to make it as easy as possible for a driver to record as much rich information at the scene as possible. So I'll take you through, it's just a little video, and I'll talk over it to show how straightforward and intuitive it is for a driver to fill out this, what we call our driver journey. And bear in mind, we have insurance partners that use this for members of the public that are policyholders. So no training was needed for them to do this. It's something that we've set it up as easily as possible. So what you're seeing here is how it would look on the Drive app, the Geotab Drive app. We're also integrated with that. So that report incident tab is Xtract's reporting tool. However, you don't need the Drive app. You could do it, the fleet manager, when they get that real-time alert, they could do the safety check, make sure the driver's okay, and then send out an SMS link, an email link. They can also have a QR code. Some of our fleets are doing a QR code on the windshield, and the driver just takes a picture and it takes them to the link. So I'll run it through here, and you'll see just how easy it is. So, you know, they've had an incident, they pull over, report incident, enter a few quick details, and then we're into the type of incident that we want to select. So as Matt was mentioning, we have multiple different types that can be reported. It's also very configurable. So if there are types of incidents that, you know, a fleet sees more often, then we could add that as well. And then again, trying to get the driver's version of events. We have the telematics version. We know that that animation has already been created, but now what we want to get is the driver's version. What kind of emergency vehicles were at the scene? Were there an ambulance, which would be a sign maybe somebody was injured? So you're already thinking about exposure. What's our exposure here? Are we looking at a big claim? Do we need to manage this proactively? Or was there a third party? If there was a third party, we want to get the driver's version of where that third party was coming from on the road, because the telematics, of course, can't pick up the third party vehicle. And then collecting as much of the rich data that we can from the scene. And, you know, from our work experience with insurance partners, we know the kind of questions that insurers are looking to see in a claims pack. So we've designed our driver journey in that way. Again, it is configurable. So if there are certain certain requirements, let's say, for your industry, then we can also, configure to that. And now, of course, taking pictures, very important to get that evidence from the scene. Often they forget to take a picture, but if you have it as part of the journey, then they're prompted, and then it's very straightforward, just on the phone, add each photo as they take it. And then they get a chance to check if they've properly completed it. And once they're ready to send it off, they just click send and then give us their feedback. And we've got a very high satisfaction rating from our insurance partners who use this for, hundreds of thousands of claims a year. So that is the driver journey. That is where that rich information that forms part of the claim pack, which we're gonna hop back across to the My Geo tab piece and show you what a completed claim pack looks like. So let me share or stop sharing. I'm stopping and sharing a lot today, haven't I? Let me see here. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. All right, we're back to the big map. Matt, are you there? Did he go off? I'm not sure if he's still
I'm just looking. Yeah, you know what? He might have had to step off because he
Okay.
Yeah.
That's no problem. I can do this part, no problem. So, we had that telematics only version. Then we went and we the driver added a bunch of information. And so now we're going to go back and take a look at how does that all come together and form what we like to call it a clean, clear claims pack. And that's tough to say. I've been practicing all morning. So let's jump back in. We're going to back into the same incident, and we're going to show you how that all came together. And one thing you'll notice straight away from looking at this animation, we still got the animation created by the telematics, but there's a number of differences now, and those come from that driver input. So we've got this red line here. So that is the flow of the third-party vehicle that was plotted by the driver when they were filling out that driver journey. And then also what we've got here is we've now got a likelihood of injury triage for the third party too. So, it's not just, we definitely want our driver to be safe. We also want to make sure no one else was hurt too. From a human side, but also from a exposure to claims liability side. So we've got that. We can sort of triage that and say, to our driver, are you okay? Is the third party okay? Do you need, maybe you need to call an ambulance if they're injured or whatever. So those are the extra things that were added by the driver. But now when I take you back over to this panel over here, what you're going to see is we now have that third-party information that was submitted by our driver with the damage zones that they estimated. And then we have a cool feature here where once we know the VIN of the third-party vehicle, we then know the weight of the third-party vehicle, and then we know obviously our own vehicle's weight, our own vehicle speed at impact, and the G-force. So it's like a mathematical equation. We can now reverse engineer how fast that the third party was going at the impact. Weather will stay the same. Internally, we might want to make that decision on, if it's clear that we were at fault, we might want to close that quickly. So we'll claim fault, or maybe we were not at fault and we want to say why. So we, put in our decision here. And of course, there could be a split liability too, and you can adjust that. Notes. This is a section where we can add notes. Fleet manager can add notes. The driver notes can come in here. If you sent out a request to a third party or a witness, a note could be added in here for that. And we have a cool feature also where you can drop a note on the map, like, witness here. So what you'll see here is that just pops straight in. And so I think you're getting the picture here is that we're streamlining as much of the process as we can. We're automating as much of the process as we can and making it super easy to have all your claims organized in a uniform manner in one place. So media, we already saw that with the dash cams. We have also the ability here to add documents, such as a police report, if we wanted to add that, or if we got another statement or something like that, we could add it. We have our pictures here. We have a cool feature here also where we can take a screenshot. Say there was a stop sign and it was something that happened in the crash. We could take a screenshot and automatically, as you see in real time here, it's immediately added in. So really good for the investigation sort of side of things. We can request pictures from a third party if we got their information, but we didn't get pictures from them at the time. But we know that they were taking pictures. We can also ask them for some pictures too here. And let's see, we're going to go. Just from an organizational point of view, we can set ourselves tasks, request that driver statement. Okay, we got that in now, so we can check that off. Okay, we need to request a police report, and then when they're checked off, they're put into completed, right? And then let's go down here. So this is our setup panel, which is basically where all of that claims information is kept and organized, so that when we're ready to share it, it's ready to go in here. So the driver had entered all this information, answered all those yes or no questions. So we have all of those in here. We have our vehicle type, we have our driver, and then the damage. And then we also have a management review section at the bottom where we can kind of do an after action report. What was wrong here? Was there was it preventable? What can we do to stop this happening in the future? And we can create a follow-up plan. And that third party that was plotted, there's the plotting of that route for the third party. And then our damage, and that information is all provided again by that driver report. So now that we have everything all in one place and we're happy, bear in mind, once the driver enters all this, that's not the end of the story. The fleet manager can conduct an investigation. They can edit some of this. They can add stuff. They can add notes themselves. It's configurable to however they want to set up their claim pack. But once we are ready to do all of that and send it off, let's say to a third-party insurer because we think we're not at fault, we have a number of options here. So before we share, we might, let's say the third party, we got their information, but we didn't get a statement from them. So we could send out a request to them, to their email, to their phone, and ask them again, like, we could just say, just for pictures, take these off and say, can you just send us pictures? Can you send us your notes? Or can you send us a full, incident report? So that's the request feature. Now, in terms of sharing, we have two options. One is more traditional. It's just a static PDF. So you've got it very nicely laid out, all the information that was contained in the claim pack, but it doesn't have the benefit of the animation, and it doesn't obviously have dash cam footage in the PDF. So what we decided to do was create what we call Xtract Replay, which is a read-only link that gives you full access to the entire claim pack that we see, except it's read-only on their side. So, and we also, I'll show you how this works, but they also get to see only what we decide to show them. So, maybe we don't want to show them our notes. Maybe all the pictures are not relevant, so we take a few off here. But once we're ready to share, then, we just enter the email of the person and click share. And then they get a read-only version, which I'm going to stop sharing again for 1 second. This is my final time.
And Mick, apologies. I am back. I had a technical meltdown there, but I'm back.
Okay, I'm just, oh, I think I found it now. Okay, let's see here. Okay, 1 sec. All right. Okay. So you should see me typing right now.
Yep, it's all showing up.
It's showing up?
Yep, you're good.
Woo, phew. Oh, I put an extra, there we go. So this is the end, this is the kind of end result. And this would be quite compelling to see if you were, say, a third-party insurer who, you know, your customer said, oh, they ran into me or whatever, and then you get this from the other, you know, the party that's the other side, and it's showing, you know, the telematics recreation. It's got the dash cam footage in there. It's got all of the information. It's got the police report. So really compelling stuff, as opposed to, you know, a PDF, which, you know, is just words and pictures, right? So we've got something here that's kind of visceral and kind of shows you, and also because it's telematics, it's you know, it's something that we can stand behind, right? So yeah, so that's the replay feature, or, you know, how we share the information at the end. And, you know, essentially that is, you know, from cradle to grave, the process of how we help with claims. So anything else, Matt, on this before we jump into some questions?
No, I think, you know, you did a good job. I think the important thing to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with is, you know, we view ourselves as an extension of the DiCAN team. And so as you work with DiCAN, we would be there to support with training. We provide ongoing support. We will run other incidents that you have through the process, so you become very comfortable on how to maximize the power of the plan. So we are always here to support, right alongside Lucy and team.
Yeah, so are there questions that we want to give to Matt and to Mick? I do know this is really easy to get started with, and we're happy to set up a one-on-one kind of demo for anyone who's on the call and wants to do that. If there aren't questions, Mick, are there questions that you typically receive from customers that maybe we want to cover? Or do you think you've covered everything?
I think we did such a good job
did
that we
such a
covered
good job.
absolutely everything, and no one's got any questions at all.
Amazing.
No, I mean, there's a few things. A lot of people ask, you know, about, you know, how much training is needed to use Xtract. Is it going to be like a lot of time to kind of get used to it? And I'll give you one anecdote is that we have a customer that has a guy, his name's Charlie. I think we might have discussed him before, but Charlie loved his paper and pen, and, you know, he'd been doing it for 40 years, and he used to get the drivers had to come back to the depot when they had an accident instead of continuing on, even if it was a small accident. And then he'd get his pen and paper and he would fill it out, and then he would transfer that onto the computer, and then it would get put into a database. And so he was very, very hesitant when we brought Xtract to his fleet. And what we found was that after a couple of training sessions, like literally a demo, and then what we call our sandbox session, which is where we get on a call with, you know, the stakeholders, the people who are going to use the platform most, and we walk them through how to build a claim pack. And within a few weeks of bringing on Xtract, you know, we heard back that Charlie was loving his Xtract, and now he's like putting everything through. He's thrown away the pad and pen. So it's really a very easy to use, intuitive platform. And the same goes for the driver side of things, with that driver report, right? As you can see, it's very sequential. It's you know, straightforward. It takes you through. It reminds you and prompts you to get the valuable information that you need from the scene of the incident. So what I would say is that it's, you know, we're here to support and train in as much as anyone needs, but it's very intuitive and you know, it doesn't take too much training.
Wonderful. There were two questions that came up. Matt, were you going to say something else?
Yeah, I'm gonna just add one thing.
Okay.
The Charlie story is awesome. From you know, you would say an adoption and someone changing their process. But really the catalyst for the fleet that we're talking about was their process before was, as Mick described, incident happens, driver returns to the depot and they start the paperwork. They go then ask for dash cam footage. Their first incident using the Xtract platform through a pilot program told them, because they had a driver going down the road, they haul petrol, so hazardous materials, driver going down the road, incident happened, they got a real-time alerts, they were able to have the dash cam footage in there to show that their driver was on the correct side of the road, it was going the right speed, they were able to make an outbound call, and they saw that the vehicle that hit them across the center median and hit their driver was okay, they asked the driver to fill out the report at the scene, collect the pictures, and within minutes, so they wouldn't even have started the process before. Within minutes, they were sending this off to their insurance company because they could tell it was 100% not at fault. So that's where you can leverage those real-time insights, you know, and have better results.
Wonderful. Thank you. Greg, you had two questions that you asked, so I'll ask them both and then you can figure if you want which one you want to answer first. But the two questions are, do you have any Canadian municipal customers? And the second question is there an ideal fleet size when this should be implemented?
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
So right now we are in conversations with some municipalities in Canada. There's not one that's on board, but we would guess that by the end of probably next month, we should have a couple. But we do have in the U.S. Cities, counties, and states that are utilizing our platform today, as well as abroad. From an ideal fleet size, you know, we don't really have one. I would say the type of customers that we're looking at is either ones that are struggling with costs today, and struggling with process, and we help them iron that out. But then on the other side, we have fleets that invest heavily in safety. They invest heavily in process refinement, and their incident rates are low, and they are leveraging our platform to take them to that next step. So fleet size, but it's really just, you know, how do we help you get the most out of your business and protect you? That's really, I think, the question versus size of fleet.
Okay. There's another question that I'm not sure if you will have an answer, or we might need Sebastian for you to come off mic and maybe explain a little bit. But you were asking, can it be set up to monitor driver behavior besides collisions? So is that enough of a question, or do you need some clarifying, Matt, Mick?
I mean, we are currently working on something like in terms of scorecards, driver scorecards, but it's not currently part of the platform right now, but we've had a lot of requests about it. So it's something that we are hoping to be adding.
Okay. All right. I hope that answers your question, Sebastian. If not, just either unmute yourself or you can chat some more.
Yeah, and,
awesome.
and Lucy, just one thing on that, and this is to build off what Mick said. Like GeoTab has a driver behavior scorecard.
Yes.
We have some fleets that want that in the platform, and so that is something that we're working on and presenting it. You have other fleets that say, I don't want to see this. This is a claims pack, and everything that shows up on here is now admissible in court, and I just want to have it clean and clear. And so it's configurable to what that fleet wants to see. So the answer is yes, and we can give that optionality.
Perfect. Any other questions? Again, we'll be sending out a follow-up after the webinar. If you want, you know, we'll be giving you the opportunity as well to talk a little more one-on-one with Xtract. One more in the chat. Hold on. Let's see. Oh no, I think I got that one. Yeah, Rick. I have one of my coworkers is messaging me, Rick's. Oh, but Rick, your question was answered because you were asking about the fleet size. So that's good. I think that if there's no more questions, I'm going to stop the recording right now. So let me just do that.
Lucy, just before you do,
yeah, sure. Yes.
Just one thing that I would like to kind of highlight that we just talked about briefly earlier was we're not just about collisions. We're not just about auto incidents either. Don't forget those alternative incidents. So, you know, your slips and falls, your cargo damage, your, you know, maybe for a municipality, maybe it's a claim by a public person against them, that, and a way to report that through the Xtract platform. So the idea is, you know, we sometimes get the question, well, you know, I don't have that many accidents every year. How do I, you know, how am I going to, you know, justify this? And really, those alternative incidents are happening all throughout the year too. So we want to cover all your incidents in one place, and we want to make sure that people are seeing the value of Xtract, you know, 365 days a year, not just the 7-8 days a year that they have a bad accident, right?
That's good. Thank you. And that's a very good point. All right. The reason I'm going to stop, we're going to stop right now.